Oakley. So you know how those big professional Let's Players who've been in the Let's Play business for like 8 to 9 years usually start phoning it in the later years, and they just do cheap tricks like reading off Sonic fanfictions to fill time? Well, I thought I could do some of that, but there's gonna be a slight distinction, you see. Instead of reading a Sonic fanfiction, I'm gonna write my own. Right here and right now, an original Sonic fanfiction, right here on this channel. So, the scene begins. There's a busy highway with many cars traveling down it, and the camera begins to follow a grey Honda Civic traveling down the highway at 70 miles an hour, as is the standard speed. And the camera zooms into the interior of the vehicle to show that Sonic and Tails are in there. Tails is driving and Sonic is in the passenger seat. So then Tails' Boost mobile phone rings and he picks it up, and it's Knuckles on the phone, and he says,
"Where you at, dog?"
And then Tails tells him that they'll be to his apartment soon enough. They just gotta stop and pick up some shit. So then he hangs up, and then they take the exit ramp on the highway, and they stop at the arts and crafts store as one of their errands, and there's a sign in the window of the arts and crafts store that says 75% off, and Sonic sees that sign and he starts freaking the hell out. He's all, yeah, 75% off! And then so Tails tells him, we're not gonna go in there until you calm down, but Sonic won't listen. He's just gone into a mode at this point. He starts freaking out and jumping around in the car, and at one point his elbow bumps the volume dial on the radio and it starts playing This Is It by Huey Lewis at an excessively loud volume. If this is it, please let me know. Yeah, kind of like that. So then Tails reaches over to adjust the volume back down, but Sonic's still just raring to go at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and he starts just randomly mashing buttons on the control panel of Tails' Honda Civic, and then one of the buttons turns the vehicle into an airplane. It turns it into the Tornado 2, you know, the plane that Tails drives around in the games. So then Sonic grabs the reins of the Tornado 2 and starts flying it around, and then something similar to this happens. So then they emerge from the rubble afterwards, and then Sonic and Tails get stung by Big Lenny and lived. The end. So there you go. That's my Sonic fanfiction. Take it as you will. So now let's actually start talking about the game here. We need 2 moon tokens to evolve Clefairy. No, we need the moon coins in order to unlock the level, and I don't know where they're hiding them. Hopefully we don't spend the whole episode in this overworld. I wouldn't do that to you. I would never spend an entire episode not actually in a level. Never, and that's definitely not gonna happen in part 7 of this series. Nope. The detection on that ledge is pretty sucky. Come on, do it. Do it, faggot. No, you can't say that on the internet of 2021. I like this music they got here. It's very soothing. But there's no time for soothing music now. We gotta go on a killing spree. Speaking of which, I had a dream last night that I went on a killing spree. I was like at a Kmart, and I don't know what that says about me psychologically, but at the end, my excuse for the judge was, I thought the K stood for kill. It seemed pretty funny at the time anyway. And here we've got some needless padding. Do the action 3 times in a row to create the illusion that the game is longer than it is. I'm sure there's some games journalist out there who complained about that in 2008. I thought there was a moon token from the distance, but it wasn't. How very disappointing. Okay, so we cut to later, and we still haven't found the moon tokens. Oh, wait. Did we? Wait, what happened? Okay, I guess I found them in between episodes. Yeah, that makes sense. The drum beat that starts this level is very similar to the drum beat from Sonic Heroes at the opening. You know, the Crush 40 guy, or whoever they got to do the soundtrack for Sonic Heroes? He has this trick that he does when writing music, where he doesn't do the lyrics first, he just makes sounds and adds lyrics to them later. So, like, there's a cut of him, like, recording the Sonic Heroes soundtrack, who's just going... yeah, like that, and then the lyrics were added in after the fact. I'm sure lots of songwriters do that. Oh, there goes Sonic. Guess the series is over. Whose idea was it to have Sonic start off by saying, "Hear we? Hear ye, hear ye. Sonic, he's come to town. He's come to save the Princess Zelda." No, I'm just getting into really obscure stuff. You guys have seen that goofy Zelda music video, right? It's like, Link, he come to town. He come to save the Princess Zelda. That was one of the first YouTube videos I ever saw. Back in 2006, I didn't really know how YouTube worked, so I just looked up stuff that I thought was cool. So I just looked up Zelda, and there was lots of Zelda stuff like the Link He Come to Town video, and there was also a screamer in there, which kind of traumatized me. I'm so glad screamers aren't really a thing anymore. Those were always kind of messed up. Being a kid in the Wild West days of the internet was a very strange experience, to say the least. Good lord, these controls are just awful. We'll get it, though. I mean, it's already slippery as it is, and then they gotta add ice into the equation. How dare you, Sega? How dare you? So, you don't really have a whole lot of control over this segment. Basically one of those autopilots. You know, people complained about there being too many autopilot segments in Sonic games all the way back in, like, the early 2000s, like a Sonic Heroes review, and it remains an issue to this day. Yes, it's just easier to make games if they just play themselves. Yep. Do you think the developers actually believed in this game? Did you think they made this with the expectation that it was going to be a big smash? I mean, when I see all these cool set pieces like that whale from earlier, I kind of get that impression that, yeah, the developers did think this was going to be a big thing. They really put their heart and soul into it, and all these cool set pieces, and this was going to be Sonic's big comeback. But then it wasn't. I missed the thing. Now we're just left to drift about on the sea until we eventually just drown. Yeah, just like that. It's not the best designed level when you can just make such an egregious mistake. You can just bypass the whole level like you saw. What were they thinking? What if they had like an AVGN parody? Fuck. They should have like a Down syndrome AVGN parody where it's mostly the same, except he just talks with like a Down syndrome accent or whatever they're talking about, whatever they call it. Like, what were they thinking? I'd watch it. they could call him the angry video game tard. I'm going to hell, and so are all of you for watching this. But what are you gonna do? You think Doug Walker knows about Sonic games? That's something to consider. Is all. Well, why does he run so fast? I can't do the high-pitched voice that he does. I'll try to do the low-pitched voice that he does instead. Is all. Why is he running so fast? I don't understand. That was always a staple of Doug Walker, is he would just get upset over jokes he didn't understand. Like, one of the most famous ones was in his Shrek review. They had that quote where Donkey says, "And in the morning, I'm making waffles." And Doug got really upset about that. He's like, "What's the joke? Do donkeys not like waffles?" And no, that isn't the joke. The joke is that Donkey is overstaying his welcome. But oh well, who cares what some early 2000s reviewer thought of a movie? It don't matter. It is way too easy to overshoot this thing. When they try to add in mechanics that are anything other than move fast, it's just this slippery overshooting mess. It's awful. So I've been thinking about doing Pokemon Yellow on this channel, but I guess my concern is that, all those fine internet people are gonna brand me as a Gen 1er, as they call it. It's almost kind of poisonous in a sense to play the old school Pokemon games, because all those ravenous 15-year-olds who like the new Pokemon games get very upset if their version of Pokemon doesn't get attention. And anyway, but I feel like the first generation is the best one for a reason. That's the famous one that everybody cares about, where all the interesting set pieces and characters were introduced. That was the series at the zenith of its popularity. Might be kinda hard to hear, but nobody actually gives a rat's ass about any of these crappy new Pokemon past like 2002. Nobody even recognizes them. People just look like fools when you say, I want the new Smash Bros. Character to be that new Pokemon they have. They should have Sky Rizzy and Cetaphil and all my favorite new Pokemon. Those are the names of new Pokemon, right? Sky Rizzy and Cetaphil? Yeah, I've definitely heard those names somewhere. Yeah. So I don't think I pointed out that we're in a different country now. We're in Iceland, home of Stefan Karl Stephenson, or former home I should say, because as you know, he tragically died of cancer in the late 2010s. Stefan Karl Stephenson was the most famous person to come out of Iceland as far as I'm aware. And gosh, the best representation of your country is just this strange, foolish man in overalls who puts on a goofy voice and does kick dances, and you think Icelandic people are proud of him, and yep, Robbie Rotten is a representation of what it's like to be an Icelander. We're all just like him, we all dress like him and act like him and everything. You think that's what Icelandic people think? Someday I'll get famous enough that there'll be Icelandic people in the comments coming back to watch this video, and they'll be able to answer that for me. Yeah. So hopefully you appreciated my Sonic fan fiction. I just made it up on the spot, but I thought it turned out pretty good. I mean, better than just reading off somebody else's fan fiction. I mean, how lazy and low effort can you get? But yeah, more Sonic is coming. So, stay on guard or whatever.